Peace, peace, peace. How y'all doing? Y'all doing good? Good, good, good. You having a good day? All right then. That's what I like to hear. We gonna keep it brief like we do, but we're gonna be going over a movie review, And I'm gonna be doing a couple of these. I got about three other movies I want to break down. I could have been broke this down, but didn't feel like it till now. But if you're aware of the Guardians of the Galaxy, I won't really have to bring you up to date on stuff, but I'm gonna be speaking on towards the middle and end of the movie. There's a lot of different things I could have spoke on, just didn't want to, didn't feel like it. This is more so what stuck out to me the most. I understand there's a whole bunch of other shit in the movie, but this is what stuck out to me the most. And so I kind of just start us off where I started at. And it's when there's a part in the movie where the Guardians of the Galaxy did a job for an empire called the Sovereignty. These people made of gold, right? And in that scene, they're all talking. Well, the captain, the leader, Starlord, he's talking to the queen of this empire called the Sovereigns. So that's kind of where I want to start at. But just to get this disclaimer out, if you will. Symbology is what I'm touching on. If you understand symbology, we'll be fine. If not, look into it after this. So right here we have the queen of the sovereign empire, or the sovereign queen. And this is who the Guardians of the Galaxy did a job for. They were supposed to retrieve a battery cell or an energy source or something like that and bring it back to them. They were hired to do a job. And so that's kind of where I'm starting at in the movie. There's a whole lot of significant stuff that goes on in the movie, but once again, this is pretty much what stuck out to me the most. Hidden in plain sight. What's a better place to put something? In plain sight. So I made significance of her being gold and the whole culture of people being gold, because this is representation of our crown chakra. Remember, family, it's not just this video. I'm talking everything in the world is ultimately talking about you. Whatever religion you practice, it's not talking about none of them characters. It's talking about you. Okay? So while the main character, Star-Lord, and the queen right here was speaking, there's a little raccoon. I believe his name is Rocket. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But there's this little raccoon who, while everybody ain't paying attention, steals the energy source or steals something he shouldn't have stolen. And these are very royal people. These people have morals, principles, rules, regulations, laws that they're very in order, which is significant because once you become higher self, you learn order. You learn ma'at, okay? But this is the main character, Star-Lord. Just a quick, brief rundown on this gentleman right here. He's the captain or the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, he's human, because there's a lot of non-quote-unquote humans in this movie. There's a lot of different type of characters, right? But he's human. He's the captain of the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's the one speaking to the queen. He's an orphan, ultimately. He was raised by this character. He's a blue guy with a mohawk made of like plastic or something. But he has this weapon, this stick or something. Whenever he whistles, the stick just goes and kills everything he's looking at and knows the intentions and everything, right? He was raised by this guy. And this guy, I don't know his name for now. I'm gonna call him Whistler because that's what he do. Well, anyway, Whistler raised Star-Lord, the main character, this gentleman right here that we see, to be pretty much a great thief. That's just nutshelling the relationship, right? Pretty much raised him to be a thief. And that's how he got into the business of what he does. But now he's a good guy or whatnot. Anyway, so after the Rocket the Raccoon dude steals the energy source, the sovereign empire, which is important as well to be sovereign, they're letting you know. Look up Suijuris, SUI space JURIS, or look at my legal video, my definition video. They were in their own accord, if you will. They were rulers of themselves. When you rule yourself, a king rules. A leader leads with lead feet. So that's why it's important to see that they were red or gold and whatnot. But he runs into a planet. They get shipwrecked on a planet, and a spacecraft appears. And a human-like being comes out. And, ultimately it comes to find out that this gentleman that comes off this spacecraft is the main character, Star-Lord's father. Essentially, his father asked him to come check out his planet. Let's catch up. I ain't seen you in a long time. I've been looking for you, blah, 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 right? So they take a trip with this gentleman. And his name is Ego. Excuse me, family. This being that comes off of this spacecraft, his name is Ego. And it so happens to be that Ego is Star-Lord's father. Now, these are important details to understand because essentially, and eventually, they come to find out that this physical form named Ego is actually a planet named Ego. Now, why is this important? Ego is a planet and a father. Okay? Ego is powerful enough to manifest itself in a physical form. Just as in people who are majority ruled by their ego, don't understand that they are not Jane Doe or John Doe. That's ego. So essentially our egos have created a physical form that we call Jane Doe and John Doe and live the experience through it, manipulating us essentially into believing we are what we are when we really are not any of that. So ego is a planet powerful enough to manifest itself in a physical form. Our egos are so powerful when unchecked that it manipulates this physical form. Understand? Us being universal planets ourselves, just as ego in the movie is a planet itself and powerful enough to create a physical. This movie, these scenes, this situation, these people, these characters, they were telling us about ourselves. Now, they come to find out that ego is a planet. It's also Star-Lord's father. Why is that important? Because ego essentially created this physical form that it lives in called Jane Doe and John Doe, manipulating Jane Doe and John Doe in the physical form, believing that it is Jane Doe and John Doe. So essentially it birthed us, or what we believe to be us. You understand what I'm saying? So our egos create our perspectives of ourselves and creates us essentially, just as ego created itself in the physical. So they come to find these things out. Star-Lord has the same powers as ego. That's important because our egos, we have power over our egos, as well as we have the same powers of ego. Ego being able to manipulate and create realities, perspectives, assumptions, beliefs. We have that power within ourselves as well. So that these little things that maybe overlooked subliminally in movies needs to be checked. We have to check our egos. We have to understand self. So what happens is they come to find out, as many of us do, that this entity called ego is a shitty person or shitty being, pretty much. Just as if we were to self-reflect, we would understand how damaging, how dangerous our unchecked egos are. So this movie is connecting those dots, but they're doing it subliminally. Excuse me, family, if I sound a little stuffy. It's because I'm dealing with a little sickness right now, but we're gonna soldier on, right? So what happens is they have to destroy ego, but they can't do it in the ways that they perceive would work. So what happens is they have to go within this planet, set a bomb off in the core of this planet, and destroy it from within. As essentially we have to do ourselves. It's up to us to go within ourselves and discover and break down our egos, just as the Guardians of the Galaxy had to do as well. So what happens is Rocket the Raccoon and this character named Groot, which is a living tree pretty much, a walking, breathing, talking tree, right? Well, Groot represents nature and man, and nature within man, in the natural state of man. Human nature. So the movie is representing when Groot has to go within ego. It represents our human nature is higher self. Our natural state is nature, or natural. Natural. You see what I'm saying? And once you become in your natural state, your higher self, which is your natural state, that is when you destroy ego. When you, first of all, when you understand and can actually see ego, you take the power away. Once you attain your higher self of just being, there is no need for ego anymore. There's no room for ego anymore. So our natural, or our nature, our Groot state ultimately destroys ego, just as Groot had to be the one that would fit to where he needed to fit to place this bomb. That's symbolic of our human man nature, Groot. Groot being in the physical of a man, but ultimately being nature or natural. So that's our natural state. And it's through that we are able to destroy or submit our egos within this universal planet. Right? So these things stuck out to me, and it played a very big significance in the symbolism that the movie was trying to get through. Subliminally. Our egos are within us, are part of us. We have to go within ourselves and break down or destroy our ego. Our egos create our perspectives and essentially create us, just as ego created itself in the physical form, manipulating us, letting it take over. But it is our Groot, our nature, to be natural. And if we can get back to our natural higher selves, then we can submit our egos. You dig me, family? So with that being said, much love. Dig into that. Check that out. Leave some feedback. Stop playing and hit that like. Continue to have a good day.